Hey, welcome back to the channel. So today I am taking a look at MSI PE72 gaming laptop. Alright, so this laptop has a lot going for itself. Let's take a look at all the specs. Alright, this particular model is equipped with 17.3 full HD screen, 1080p, powered by NVIDIA GeForce 1050 Ti, 4GB of GDDR5. i7 Coffee Lake processor 2.2, turbo boost up to 4.1 GHz, onboard 32 GB of RAM, and this one has 512 GB of solid state M.2. Taking a look at the port, let's see, we have the Ethernet, we have USB 3.1, HDMI, mini display port, another USB 3.1, and then USB 3.1 Type-C, and then you have the microphone and the headphone jack. On the other side, you have regular legacy USB port and SD card with the power adapter input. Nothing on the front or the back. So that rounds out the ports that are offered on the laptop. Okay, so dimension-wise, the complete width is 16.53 inches long, 11.33 inches deep, and 1.25 inches tall, and it weighs in at almost 6 pounds. Okay, so typically I don't run benchmark numbers on my review videos because those are just some numbers that may mean nothing to a lot of people watching the video. However, this being a gaming laptop, I have run some benchmark numbers so that we all have something to compare with. So with the 3D mark times by, it comes in at 2,549, and it scores the 6,585 in Firestrike. Again, also in 3D mark. As far as the Geekbench score is concerned, Coffee Lake 8th generation Intel i7 2.2. This comes in at 21,982 OpenCL score. And the M.2 serial solid state drive read and write speed, I'll have it on the screen right now. Alright, so now that we've got all the specs and all the benchmark numbers out of the way, now let's talk about this laptop briefly. So as far as the appearance is concerned, the somewhat held back look for a gaming laptop, actually I find it pleasing. It doesn't have that gaudy, overwhelming, you know, the red accent, RGB accent or whatever that may be a little bit overdone at times. And the fall brushed aluminum look is actually done well, I think, without looking tacky. However, for a 2018 laptop, it is just my opinion that the bezel just a bit thick. As far as the build quality is concerned, the top lid does flex quite a bit, and that's kind of somewhat par for the course given the size of the display panel. And the bottom base does have some flex, but not all that terrible. Overall, fit and finish is a stellar. Not much that I can find fault for, and it's just a solidly well put together computer. Alright, let's talk about in terms of usability. This laptop, with all that's going for it, does have some issues, and we'll talk about those now. Mainly, my biggest gripe with this particular laptop is how warm it gets. Maybe that is again par for the course for gaming laptops, all the heat that it generates, but this model comes with all this marketing jargon like the Cooler Boost 4, and it has an integrated app, Dragon Center, that you can pull up to control your fan and the cooling performance or whatever. It also has a designated button right here that you can press. I don't know if the microphone is picking up that whirling sound. So the fans kick in to cool down the laptop. So it gets a little bit warmer. Now by no means it's getting so hot where it's uncomfortable to use fry an egg on top of it. However, mainly in two areas, right here and right here is where things get really hot. So when you have your hands on the laptop as if you're typing and using normally, this is right where your palm on both the hands, they rest right there where the two hottest points are. And then the hot air blow out through this vents right over here. And that's where it becomes a little bit uneasy to use. And when in between like a gaming or when the laptop is being used, it does generate a lot of heat. And to run the benchmarks, I normally do the benchmarks right after all the operating system updates are done, all the manufacturer drivers are updated and whatever. So I was just in the process of downloading drivers only via Wi-Fi. So laptop is not really being pushed all that much, and yet the laptop was generating so much heat at that point. It shocked me just a tad. So heating is a problem. And then the keyboard, now coming from like the Apple's butterfly keyboard with so little travel, the keys on this laptop, they show quite a bit of travel. There's a lot being pressed down, but also at the same time there is a lot of rocking going on this key, vertically, horizontally. There's a lot of I don't want to say mushy because they aren't necessarily mushy, but there is a lot of flex and a lot of play on each key. And then if you ask me, maybe the gaps between the keys could have been a little bit narrower, thus increasing the size of the key itself. I mean, they're not tiny by any means, but I believe they could have gotten a bit larger. Okay, the 1080p 17.3 inch screen, non-reflective as you see on the screen. Pleasure to look at. Really not a whole lot of things that I could complain about, other than occasionally I believe I've noticed when you're looking at a consistent color on the screen, it shows a little bit, just a tad bit darker on the top side versus the bottom. The trackpad area is very generous in terms of size and gapless, seamless transition from the actual palm rest to the trackpad, very pleasing. The buttons are large, they have great tactile feedback. Now, trackpad, I felt like as the movement wasn't as precise as some of the other trackpads I have come to use, whether that's ones on Apple or like the Dell XPS or Lenovo ThinkPads. So slightly less responsive in my opinion, but not a showstopper. As far as the audio is concerned, it has two front bottom firing speakers. They are extremely loud. So I'll give you, this is just going to be the microphone on the camera that's picking up the audio. The volume's at 60%. Alright, so as you heard, audio is very loud, pretty clear enough. Their audio marketing jargon is Nahimic 3, whatever the hell that means. It is good enough for me. During the gameplay, you can hear everything crisp and loud and clear definition. Not surprisingly enough, it's not like overwhelming on the bass or like a ear piercing and treble registers either. So no complaint there either. Wireless, Intel AC, good enough. The reasonable range, reasonable speed, nothing to really write home about. However, for the general purpose of the laptop, completely serviceable. Alright, so as far as the battery is concerned, this is a 6-cell battery, 41 watts. Now, with a bunch of tabs open on Chrome and with the general, media consumption, with some light work taking place on like the Word and Excel, I was able to eke out about with the screen brightness at 80%, I was able to eke out about hour and 52 minutes of battery time. So it's nothing to really write home about in terms of all day usability in terms of a battery. With the gaming laptops, I always opt to also show you how large the power brick is. It's a very, very large power brick. Not heavy because it is thin, but I've seen worse. So it is definitely portable, and it has to be portable since the battery only lasts not even 2 hours. All right, so with that said, let's conclude this review. There is a lot going for this MSI PE72 laptop. A lot of me really want to love this laptop, but there are some glaring issues. The overheating problem that I've talked about earlier, that is a bit of a turn off no matter how well it performs. When you have your hands on the keyboard, it just gets so balmy on the bottom to a point where it becomes just really annoying. It's not hot like you're just gonna put your hand on there and immediately take your hand off, that kind of a hot. However, it is so annoying to a point where I think it becomes a showstopper right there. However, the laptop does punch above its weight, so to speak. It is well put together. It's presentable looking. Packs a whole lot of horsepower for any kind of a day-to-day work that you have to do outside of video gaming. So that concludes my review of MSI PE72. Again, other than the bit of a heating issue, I think this laptop is a good value. This video is being shot August 21st, year 2018. It currently streets at about $16.99. So at that price range, with the package, with the specs that it has, gives you great performance. Other than the heating, really not much to fault for. It's extremely well put together. There's just a lot going for it. And as I have my right hand behind the heat vent right now, it is quite warm. And it is 100 degrees outside here in Los Angeles, so it's not very pleasing. I'm Tech Your Guy, and you have been great. Thank you for your time watching.